welcome to NAWBO NYC's Know Your Elected Officials. So glad to have you for our inaugural episode. This podcast is a 1-hour virtual conversation where NAWBO NYC members get to know their elected officials and vice versa. They get to know us too. This is a place where our electeds can share about their personal journeys as well as their thoughts on issues that impact women-owned business communities. Keep in mind that NAWBO NYC members hail from all around the New York City area. For example, I'm located in Westchester County, and another member who has invited our featured guest today resides in New Jersey. So our reach goes far and wide. So all are welcome to join, all are welcome to the conversation, and welcome, welcome, welcome. A bit of information about NAWBO NYC. It stands for National Association of Women Business Owners, and we are the New York City chapter. It's a nationwide business organization where iron sharpens iron. This is where women business owners come together, and we seek to foster economic stability through business ownership. We also seek to groom our young girls into becoming entrepreneurs. And most importantly, we seek to position NAWBO NYC as a trusted advisor, an active participant, and a go-to resource in our local communities where elected officials and community-based organizations can turn to us for quality programming and active community engagement. Today's episode will feature New Jersey Councilman John Rooney, who represents the Borough of Norwood. Before we invite him up, we must highlight our own member, Nieves Chantasoto, who is responsible for inviting Councilman Rooney to join us. In fact, let me see if I can bring Nieves up. Nieves serves as our treasurer in the NAWBO NYC chapter, and she runs Ledger Lanes, which provides accounting and financial management services to businesses, government entities, nonprofits. Her mission is to promote women-owned business enterprises and minority-owned business enterprises. So if you visit her website, she was dropping gems in a little 16-minute video. She was dropping all kinds of gems. Let me see if I can, for example, and it was the hard stuff we didn't necessarily want to hear, but it's necessary to keep our businesses financially viable. For example, we should set aside 6 to 12 months of capital reserves. In this environment, some of us are just trying to keep the wheels going, but she will not back down. She said, this is the ideal, at least in your planning and your forecasting. Keep that in mind, because unless we're even aware that it's a goal to shoot for, we won't make progress. She also suggests we be conservative in our forecasting, increase our digital presence, and collaborate more with other businesses that align with us, and that will help us save costs. And don't mix personal finances with business finances. No commingling. You would think it goes without saying, but we're saying it. So Nieves, just want to thank you for making this episode possible. Just wanted to invite you up in case you'd like to say a few words. Welcome our attendees. The floor is yours.
Wow. You've put up a lot of good words for me, Attorney Ketchy. I appreciate it. But you know, as a women entrepreneur, as member of NAWBO NYC, it's my my honor to invite Councilman John Rooney so that we can get to know and connect among women entrepreneurs. We are in Norwood, which is a very small town, and our kids grew up here. They're all adults now, and I look back, we around the borough are sports fields. We don't have a lot of businesses in the area, but Norwood has been focused more on families, and I think that's very important. So now that we are talking about small businesses and growing our small businesses, it's very nice to have the opportunity to hear from Councilman John Rooney about how we can do better for the community as well in terms of small businesses. So I won't take much of your time, and I would love to hear from Councilman John Rooney about, for the rest of the hour, and hopefully we can build something from here and support each other. So thank you so much. We're very honored to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nieves. And for all our attendees and listeners, who will our next featured guest be? It depends on you. We are encouraging our members to reach out to your individual elected officials, put them in touch with me. My name is Nkechi Wachuku. I serve as the VP of Public Policy for NAWBO NYC. We'd love to connect you all and have you bring your elected representatives to have a conversation as well. Our featured elected of the hour is Councilman John Rooney. I'm going to read from the bio that I obtained from him. And what I love about it is that it tells us about him, not as a politician or a professional, but him as a person. People do business with people they know and like, and that's why we're here, to get to know each other. So Councilman John Rooney and his wife Joanne have lived in Norwood, the borough of Norwood, since 1990, where they raised three boys. I have two boys, and thank goodness for the girl that kind of balances it out, but three boys who are now of adult age, pursuing their own careers and dreams. During that time, he coached several sports teams, has been very involved in scouting, and helped all three of his sons achieve the rank of Eagle Scout, which is the highest rank I believe a scout can reach. And all three of them, well done. He is an active member in his church and community, and currently serves on Immaculate Conception Church's parish and finance councils. He also distributes Holy Communion to the Norwood Nursing Home every other Sunday. If I'm correct, I believe you and Nieves met serving on that church's finance committee. So that's how relationships are built, just being involved in the community.
Yes.
Councilman Rooney previously served 2 terms as a councilman, where he served on various committees, and then was elected again in 2017 after a 13-year absence. And I think I'm going to bring Councilman Rooney up right now and say welcome. And that was my first question. After a 13-year absence, what was happening in that 13 years that you were on the council, you went off, and you came back? What were you up to?
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I was looking forward to joining and participating in this chat with your organization. Yeah, I did serve 2 terms in the late 90s, from 97 to 2003. I had 3 boys at the time, and after the second term, their social and school calendar is starting to fill up. And I just didn't have the bandwidth to continue as both a councilman, a coach, a scoutmaster. I was still involved with the church at the time. As a Eucharistic minister, I'm also on the finance council there, as well as the parish council. So my plate was getting pretty full, and something had to give. So I did decide not to continue to run again. And then in 2016, I was asked several times to if I would consider running again, and I had to give it a lot of consideration, a lot of thought. And after a relentless request to run again, I caved in. And the reason why I did ultimately decide to run was that I had the opportunity to see the mayor and council in operation. I attended several of their monthly meetings, and I was impressed with the professionalism that was displayed during their meetings. In that, everyone has could have a difference in opinion, but at least those opinions were well respected, and everyone had an equal voice in terms of expressing their opinion, and that impressed me. So that was the primary reason for deciding to run again. And so it's been since almost 4 years, 5 years. I'm in the last year of my second term, and I'm actually up for re-election this year. So I would say family was the primary reason in terms of not deciding to continue running.
So you mentioned you came back because people were asking you to come back and asking you and asking you. What made you decide to enter into public service the first time? What was it that pulled you into government service?
Well, initially, I was much younger then, of course, and had more energy. But the mayor at the time, Mayor Gus Derrickle, and I have a finance background. I'm a CPA, and I was very well known in town, even though I had only been in town up until then for 7 years. And at the current administration, at that time, in my opinion, was a lot to be desired. I felt they weren't acting for and enforcing the best thing for Norwood. A lot of self-interest were being served, and I felt I needed to do something. And so I was asked to run at that time. Gus and a couple of other council people at the time, or former council people, suggested, if you're that concerned, you'd be a great asset to the town. Why don't you run? And I did, and I got elected. So I was very pleased with that. And the second time around was really, there was, like I said, initially I was reluctant because there's a time commitment. But at that point, my 3 boys were adult men, and they didn't require the time that I required, that portion of my time like they did previously. So, and like I said, I was impressed with the way the administration, the mayor and council conducted itself. I thought they were very respectful, very professional, and I felt that my financial acumen and background would be an asset to the town. I'm the town's finance chairman. I help oversee the development of the budget, which is probably the biggest task as a council person has, because the budget translates into how much taxes we have to raise and bill our taxpayers. So those are the 2 primary drivers, both from the initial time I ran as for council and then the second go around.
Okay. Thank you. It sounds like your community is family focused, and it sounds like the finances are running pretty well.
Yes, yeah, it's a very family-oriented town. It's gotten to be a very diverse town. We do have we do offer a lot of services to the community. We're one of the safest communities. I think we're voted the fourth safest town based on for a population of less than 10,000 in the country. So we were highlighted in some sort, I forget the publication that pointed out that we were ranked fourth in the nation based on our population in terms of places to live. So that was very meaningful and meant a lot to not only someone who lives in Norwood, but also someone who serves the borough in a council capacity.
What does the business community look like? It's a great place to live.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's like Nieves mentioned. We do have several businesses, mostly warehouses, textiles, manufacturing, which most people in Norwood probably wouldn't even know about because they're off the main drag. But we do have a significant amount of real estate, commercial real estate, and just recently, our main street has just completed a tremendous development effort, both commercial and residential. And there's plenty of real estate, or I should say, rental space available for new businesses. We encourage people, any type of business, women's, it'd be a perfect opportunity for any small business owner, women business owners to take advantage of the rental spaces that are available. And Nieves will tell you, it took a long time. We had issues with the developer. He had gone bankrupt. It took like 10 years before the project was completed, but it's completed now. And we've already started getting some business in there, some businesses run by women. We have a yoga facility that's run, it's owned by a woman, and also our urgent care. There's a number of family-owned businesses on the main street of Norwood, Livingston Street. Nail salons, dry cleaners. We're so blessed to be living in such a diverse area. We have Chinese, Japanese, Thai, Korean foods, and
Italian, yeah.
Italian, yeah, meat shops, and it's just and a lot of these businesses, not are while family owned, it's the woman. It's a woman who's actually running it day to day. So there's very much of a female presence from a business perspective in Norwood because of that.
So are there if someone wanted to start business, you mentioned the rental spaces, is there a chamber? If someone wants to come and explore the resources and opportunities available, where would we go?
Well, there's phone numbers, of course, on the building itself for those who are interested in rental space, and to call and arrange to meet. And you can also talk to our borough administrator, our construction office supervisor in Borough Hall, and they can at least point you in the right direction. But I mean, we have like I said, it just finished developing. We'll only have a handful of businesses that are committed right now. And there's like another, at least 15 to 20 of space, a rental space, just waiting for a new owner to take over. And, because that's what we want to see. We want to see a thriving, vibrant community. And, for 10 years we did, because it took so long to develop this building. And now we have, being able to see people engage with the local businesses and have them being part of the community is something that we look forward to.
We wanted to talk a bit, thank you for sharing a bit about Norwood. We want to now branch out and talk about some general things. The topic we had in mind was civic engagement, how small business owners can connect with local government. Do you have any thoughts around, well, first of all, how important, what does civic engagement look like to you? And why is it important?
It's tremendously important, only because it serves to make the community more vibrant and viable and engaging, and having local businesses involved with the local government. It allows that to happen. Every year we have what we call Norwood Day, where families are invited and local businesses come and provide food, sell their products, and it gives them an opportunity to get, who are the people in the community, who are the people, that are out in Norwood that might not necessarily shop on the main street on Livingston Street. So civic engagement is vital to the survival and the viability of a community, and from both sides. We as a mayor and council, we strongly encourage it because it only makes Norwood that much more valuable. From a business owner perspective, it gets your face out there, your business out there. And so when someone wants to know where's a good place to get a slice of pizza or Italian food or Japanese food, Cousins Pizza right around the corner has good pizza, or Mandarin Garden has wonderful salad. So this type of recognition, civic engagement, allows for recognition of the local business owners to the community.
Can you touch on, well, how does a small business owner become recognizable? What kind of activities should we be engaging in so that they're like, oh yeah, you need flowers, come on, you need an accountant, that person. What should we be doing to get engaged?
We have monthly meetings. Mayor and council meets twice a month, where a lot of topics are discussed, a lot of issues. And understanding those issues as a business owner certainly would help. We also have charity events that we encourage local business to participate in. We had a 5K run where we asked local businesses to help sponsor, and it's all for charity. The money that's raised goes to different charitable organizations, primarily our volunteers, our volunteer fire and volunteer EMS. And a big contributor to the community is also our Chow Dai Church, Korean church here in Norwood, that are very civic minded and I don't know what, they constantly contributing their resources and their money towards various charities, and paying for uniforms, or paying for certain sports equipment, things of that nature, which is something that would be examples of how businesses can get engaged and be civic minded.
Okay, what I love that I'm hearing from you is that the engagement probably has nothing to do with the businesses we're in. Like that's volunteering for the volunteer fire department, or contributing for sports equipment, 5K runs. And it's through those just basic person-to-person interactions that we get to share a bit of what we do, and not in the salesman kind of way, but just interpersonal relationships. So,
but indirectly, right? So in other words, because of that engagement, what do you do? I have a business on Livingston Street. What kind of business? A nail salon or a pizzeria. Oh, that's the one that, yeah. And I'll have to go in there sometime and check it out. So it's both recognition, an opportunity to recognize not only yourself as a business owner, but also your business.
Suppose a few of we NAWBO members decided to come take a day trip and hang out in the borough of Norwood. Can you give us like 3 spots that we absolutely must hit? You got to check this place out. You got to check that place out. You know, we might
I
come.
would say, yeah, I would say first our downtown area, just to see the opportunity that's available in terms of starting a new business. Like I mentioned, there's so much commercial property available to be rented, as well as residential. That would be one area to focus in on. We have a beautiful sports complex called Kennedy Field, where a lot of what's there was actually contributions from local businesses. Now, getting back to that civic involvement, that civic engagement, we're only 35 minutes from Midtown Manhattan, and only 20 minutes from Bear Mountain, and so there's plenty of hiking in the area. You know, we could be in downtown Manhattan in a very short while. One of the biggest shopping malls in the country, Palisades Mall, is only 15 minutes from downtown Norwood. So you know, there's some very good shopping in the area. There's some excellent restaurants, as Niamh has mentioned, some good Italian restaurants, but also some tremendous Korean restaurants and Japanese restaurants. And I think, like I said, the diversity that's being brought to Norwood is something that we truly appreciate.
Thank you for sharing. I wanted to ask, when Nieves invited you to appear on our podcast, why did you say yes?
Well, she explained the organization, NAWBO, and what it does, and I said, you know what, anything I can do to help people understand the importance of women in business, it sounded like a great opportunity to do so. We have a councilwoman, Annie Houseman. I mentioned that earlier. She's only the 3rd woman to be on the council in the history of Norwood. We have a Korean man who just was elected to our council, and he's the first Asian to be on in the history of Norwood to be on the council. And so that's a reflection of the community. That's a reflection of how diverse we are, and how open we are to accept that diversity. And that's why I embrace the diversity, both in terms of women involved in businesses and also different cultures that's in Norwood today.
Thank you very much. I want to get back. There's some questions that were rattling in the back of my mind, and since we have time, I wanted to keep asking.
Sure.
But what is the toughest part for you being an elected official? What's the toughest part?
I would say politics. You try to do. I try to do the right thing. There's 2 things at a very early age. My father taught me, your word is your bond. Once you commit to something, you have to do it. And the second is honesty, not just to others, but to yourself. And at the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, did I do the right thing, or am I doing the right thing? And sometimes doing the right thing it gets in the way, or I should say, a lot of times politics gets in the way of trying to do the right thing, because people's personal interests get involved, or their thoughts and direction they want to take, or because of how they feel about someone else on the council. I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying we're dysfunctional, but all I'm saying is politics sometimes gets introduced, and it prevents people from wanting to do the right thing, and so sometimes it can get political, and that's probably the biggest obstacle in terms of wanting to do what I think is best for Norwood.
Before we went live, I mentioned that I worked for a New York State assemblywoman, when I was in college, my last year of college, we did an internship up there. And that's one of the things she used to say, as long as she can sleep at night, she made the right decision. So I like that you said, not just being honest, but being honest to yourself. That's a great key. What would you say is the best piece of advice you've gotten? Let's say personally and professionally. What's the best piece of advice that you've gotten that's helped you to serve as a public servant? And what's the best piece of advice you've gotten just in your personal life?
I would have to say when I first joined the council 20 plus years ago, it was 1998. So at 21 to 23 years ago, Gus Derrico gave me a great piece of advice because you're a good man, you have a good mind, don't let people tell you anything different, and just, let it roll off your back. You can't take this personal. Yeah, it can get political at times, but at the end of the day, you know the person you are, and just try to do the right thing. And so that was probably the best advice, and I try to live by that every day. And in terms of personal, I was blessed having two incredible parents, and they blessed me with a strong faith. And your word is your bond, my dad used to tell me, and that's something no one can take from you. They can take your home, they can take your car, but your word and what it means to other people, that's something that stays with you. So that always stuck with me. And also being honest with yourself and honest with others. Because if you can't do that, then you're going nowhere, and people see right through it. So there's need for honesty and transparency, and it's counterproductive to do anything else, or to do anything different, I should say.
Thank you. We have a diverse membership, and there's some of our members that deal regularly with government officials, even helping women run for office. With your background and experience, if someone wanted to run for office, hold public office, make an impact that way, what direction would you point them in? What should they be doing? What foundation and groundwork should they be laying?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say it depends upon the individual. If there's someone, we have the Democratic club in town, there's also the Republican club. Depending upon their party or the party that they want to represent, I would have them be, make sure that they got engaged with those party members and get involved in the party first, and then show an interest in terms of wanting to run for office, and also be very involved with the community, because the more involved you are, the more people are going to recognize you, and that's key. Especially if you're not well known in town, it's important to show people how involved you are, and so that you can be recognized. So I would say getting involved with the local parties, getting involved in your community, showing people that you care, and if you had a small business in town, it's even better, because you can really help both your business as well as your civic responsibilities, and at the same time be recognized as a leader in the community.
Thank you for mentioning showing an interest, because I kind of believe all politics is local. I'm a big fan of becoming involved on the local level. Those are the representatives that are very close to you. But in my service as VP of Public Policy for NAWBO NYC, I'm starting to meet with other peers on the national level, and they had us visit with some Congress members virtually up in DC, and it was eye-opening to me that a number of them said, we elected officials need you, the business community. Usually we feel like we need something from government, and they are saying, we're counting on you to be the boots on the ground, our eyes and our ears, to give us information we otherwise would not know. Not all of us are business owners. So your perspective is important for us to hear and factor it in. I've just noticed that I think the biggest issue is lack of communication. I'm finding that representatives are doing the best they can and want to do the best they can. And sometimes all that's needed is a little information, and that could literally change the course. So at NAWBO NYC, we're all about, let's speak up. Women business owners, let's share what we're experiencing, and we can actually open doors and make some change in our community.
Absolutely. Yeah, unless you get involved, you're not going to, it's a time commitment. A big part of the time commitment as an elected official, especially at the congressman level, because the vast area that they represent is getting involved at the local area, visiting different towns, swearing in new elected local officials. We're very fortunate in our district. Congressman Josh Gottheimer has visited our town several times. He swore in N.A. Houseman. He swore in another council person. He attended our kickoff campaign when I was running. When I decided to run for office the second go around, and as a result of that, getting a better understanding of the local area and the local businesses, it's made him more recognizable. I mean, he's considered, a very down-to-earth congressman, and not too many people can, you can say that about in this landscape that we have. But it's only because he takes the time to reach out. And I'm not campaigning for Josh Goddard, but I'm just saying that's an example of what you just said. Is that making a commitment to talk to and understand the concerns of local business owners or local communities, and see what their pain is.
And you just mentioned seeing what their pain is, and also suggested that we sit in on local meetings. I actually was doing that, and I noticed I'm an attorney. I didn't mention, but I'm an attorney, and I focus on government contracts, land use, a lot of government type issues. And by sitting in on some meetings, I saw where there was a gap. For example, a certain department was short-staffed and needed to outsource for certain services. And to make sure that the vendors they were using became familiar with, how the local government operated, especially in land use issues, I was like, you know what, I should put together a course, basic land use law for plan examiners, just so they can understand our local thing. And that's a business idea. If I create it, put it up, it's a course that the vendors can take while I'm asleep or with my kids. I homeschool my kids, and it's a business idea that came from literally just sitting in, listening to what issues this particular community was having, and a business idea was born. So.
Yep, that's how it happens. And it's not just the business owners that we encourage to attend our meetings. I mean, the community. So just so they get a sense of the issues we have and some of the difficulties or obstacles we have in implementing new ideas or new programs and things of that nature. We're often criticized, how come it took so long to do this? Or how come, how come there's been such a long time doing road repair on a certain road? Well, maybe it's a county road. Maybe that's another obstacle that we have to deal with and we don't have control of at a local level. Oh, okay. So it's an opportunity to be educated and to be engaged and to understand some of the ups and downs and that goes on in helping run a borough. And I think having that opportunity, we live stream our meetings. I mean, they're open to the public. We live stream them as well. And you know, we encourage people to attend. The greater the participation, the greater the understanding there is, and potentially the greater involvement by those people in the community, because they, you know, when they see what's going on, they're more apt to help out in some capacity down the road.
Because people do business and work with people they know and like.
Exactly right. Exactly.
If there are any questions from any of our attendees, absolutely raise your hand, or, you know, say, let us know if there's anything. Okay. Nina, let me put us on gallery view.
Hi, John. Nice to meet you. So I've got a question from the vantage point of a small business owner. I own a law firm, but I'm also a partner in a bar and restaurant. And as you know, COVID has really hit the hospitality industry enormously. And to harken back a little bit to what Nkechi was saying, you know, in order to have influence and to really understand the laws, sometimes you have to attend. Now, bar owners, it's really difficult because you're in there, you're, you know, taking care of the business, having gone through the community board and the liquor license process. And I know it's a little different in every township. It's really hard for people to engage locally. So what suggestions do you have for hospitality industry or small businesses that really they're doing everything, HR, finance, everything themselves? So to then eke out an hour and a half to go sit in a council meeting, you know, it's really hard as well. So what suggestions do you have?
You know, that's a good question. I would, I mean, running your own business, especially hospitality industry, is extremely time consuming. I have friends that own restaurants in the city, and you know, it's their life. It's 7 days a week. Let's put it that way. And so they don't have the bandwidth to, like you mentioned, sit in on a council meeting or attend a fundraiser. But I would encourage them then to invite local politicians or local council members or people in the community to their restaurant. Maybe have, you know, 2 for 1, maybe offer some sort of promotion, just so they, you know, or have some sort of fundraiser in the restaurant for a local cause. This way it shows that you care about the community, and the community then recognizes you as someone who has a business, a good business, a thriving business, and cares what's going on. And this way, it's an opportunity to interact and help the community that way. That would be one suggestion. Or maybe even contribute or donate to a cause. Maybe not have the fundraiser, but, you know, make it known that, XYZ bar just contributed to a local cause, and promote that, and allow the local government to promote it on your behalf as well. You know, on their bulletin board, on the website. You know, want to thank XYZ Bar and Restaurant for helping fund the money collected to support our local volunteers. Your help and support is much appreciated. Oh, and then that way, you know, that's another example or an opportunity for local businesses that may be very busy and very time consuming to participate and demonstrate their support for the community. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Yeah, that was super helpful.
And thank you for demonstrating just that. If we can't come to you all, you actually are making the time to come to us because we invited. So great point, and thanks for being a living demonstration of that.
Oh, no problem. We actually, we did that, just that. The of us will tell you Jerry's Place. It's an Irish pub and restaurant here in town. And they asked for the mayor and council to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony. And, you know, they had free food for the event, and have continued to help support various charities and fundraisers for local causes, you know. And so when people think of Jerry's, they're not only thinking of the great food, they're thinking of the support that they provided since they became a business in Norwood.
Thank you. Especially during tough times like these that Nina mentioned.
Yeah.
A lot of times business owners are asking the government, well, what can you do for us to help bring us through? Is there anything that the business community can do for our local governments to help keep the local government, bring the local governments through these times? Instead of us asking, what can you do for us? Now we're asking, what can we do for you? The community at large, the government.
Yeah, I would say just better understand how the government is run, and going back to showing support for the community, because that, supporting the community that way will make the community stronger and more viable, and will make local government more stronger and viable, because we represent the community, and seeing a thriving community is our ultimate goal. And that happens only through a partnership between local government and local business.
What about the younger generation? I worked as an employee for decades. I'm just now a brand new entrepreneur. This is my 4th year, still relatively new. And I said, I know how to be a great employee. I want to learn how to be a great, successful, profitable businesswoman. And I'm trying to teach my only girl, she's 9 now, that yes, you can be an employee, and yes, you can have your own business. They're both viable. I think I was more the employee. I was brought up to, get a job and, traditional, get good grades, get a job, secure a job. How can we reach out to the younger generation and just let them know about entrepreneurship, business ownership, and what great opportunities those afford? How can we connect?
I think by example, showing the hard work that's involved in establishing a new business, the effort that's required to maintain and sustain that business. I think a lot of people don't appreciate and understand that, who are not involved in such businesses. So I think demonstrating the commitment, the younger generation sometimes loses sight of that. And but unless we show them what's involved and demonstrate the importance of a commitment, and that could be with anything, anything you got to show and demonstrate the importance of being committed to a cause, to a business, to your faith. Commitment is so key, and being able to effectively convey that and show that by example, I think would help. People see that you're committed to a certain project or a certain business, and they see how the hard work that's involved. That could be them saying, you know what, if he or she can do it, I can do it, if they have the passion to do so. And that's key as well. But anything worthwhile is worth working for and being committed towards.
You are giving me new life right now. Like I said, I homeschool my kids, and I'm counting on the concept that more is caught than taught. And I'm hoping that by them seeing me, like right now, I have to shut the door and say, okay, we're doing the podcast now. And And you know, they are a part of everything that I do.
Right.
Before I shut the door and tell them, don't come in, don't knock, stop yelling, things like that.
Right.
Thank you for.
But I think a part of that is not only showing the commitment, but why you're committed. You know, in terms of, because I'm doing this for not just me, I'm doing this for us. We're in this together, and I'm doing my part. I'm working hard, so together we can achieve our dream and get to where we want to be.
Thank you.
And I just want to expand community involvement. When I just moved to Norwood more than 20 years ago, having my first house in Norwood, I actually volunteered in the budget committee. I don't know if I told Councilman John Rooney. I attended the meetings after working long hours, and that's how I got to know where your hard work is going, how the officials are doing hard to make the community better. And so that was very helpful for me to understand why I see policemen at certain time, or the councilman at a certain area, and why are they doing certain things. And that helped me understand how the process works in a small town like Norwood. So that really opened my eyes.
That's a great analogy. Like many of us, I don't know, we've known each other how long ago? 20 years ago?
More than 20 years ago, we volunteered at Immaculate Conception to put the budget together, to report the finances monthly. So that's how we got to know each other. And of course, our children were growing, and we also want to take time off and be involved with our family. And I think we did the same plan for our families, and now we're going back. They're big now, and we're going back to now fulfilling our dreams and continue whatever we want to do.
Our time is fast running. Danielle.
Wow.
Hand raised.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Nkechi, for inviting me. And thank you, John, for opening up to us. And I love how you think about community as a comprehensive view. And when I think of community, I think of valuable resources offered to help, with the focus on schools being one of the most valuable resources. What is your ideal view of a school being the pillar of our community?
Oh, it's tremendous. We're a very attractive borough because of the school system. We have an excellent school system. The reputation of our school system is known throughout the state. And that's, education is such an incredible, important objective for parents. And having a school system, a strong school system, brings people to the community, and people come to Norwood because of our school system. And once they're here, they see some of the other aspects and attributes of the community that hopefully they can get involved in. But it's the school. It's a strong school system that serves as a magnet to attract families to a given community. 1000%.
I agree. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, we have reached the top of the hour. I cannot thank you all enough. Councilman Rooney, NAWBO NYC members, invitees, even those who will take the time to listen to this podcast recording sometime during your busy schedule. Thank you for participating in this conversation, because as women business owners, we don't just want to be heard, we want to listen to. Relationship is a two-way street. So thank you for opening the door and showing us that we're all in this together. All we have to do is knock and ask, and opportunities await. So we've come to the end of our episode of NAWBO NYC's Know Your Elected Officials. Stay tuned for more. Until then.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting you all.
Hi,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you
Take
all.
care now.